In late 1943, during World War II, the cities of Italy were subjected to intense bombing by the Allies. Milan was no exception. Bombs destroyed large parts of the city, and among the damaged sites was the convent of Santa Maria. Fortunately, despite all the destruction, certain walls remained standing, and on one of them was an old painting, one of the greatest artworks in history, The Last Supper by Leonardo da Vinci. But why did da Vinci paint this masterpiece? The story dates back to 1495 when Ludovico Sforza, the Duke of Milan, commissioned the renowned artist Leonardo da Vinci to decorate the dining hall wall of the Santa Maria convent with a religious painting. At the time, da Vinci was not just a painter, he was a polymath of the Renaissance, but his life was far from stable. Political unrest in Florence forced him to leave and seek new opportunities in Milan. When da Vinci began working on the painting, he refused to depict it in the traditional style that other artists had used. Typically, this scene was painted with golden halos around the figures' heads, all sitting calmly around the table. But da Vinci had a completely different vision. He chose to capture the most dramatic moment, the very instant when Jesus announced that one of his disciples would betray him. One can imagine the shock spreading among the disciples, their faces filled with surprise and anxiety, hands moving in different directions, and the entire scene immersed in chaos. Fascinated by anatomy and human expressions, da Vinci left nothing to chance. He wandered through markets and streets, observing faces and emotions to select the perfect features for Christ's disciples. When it came to portraying Judas, he searched for someone whose face reflected both treachery and unease, until he found exactly what he needed. As for Jesus, he placed him at the center of the composition, calm and unwavering, as if untouched by the turmoil surrounding him. Da Vinci used linear perspective to enhance the realism of the scene. The lines of the floor and ceiling converge at a single point behind Christ's head, drawing the viewer's eye directly to him. He also broke conventional artistic norms by applying the fourth wall break technique, making the viewer feel like a part of the event, sitting at the Last Supper table, hearing the echo of Christ's words, "One of you will betray me." However, the greatest challenge was not the painting itself, but the materials da Vinci used. Instead of the traditional fresco technique, which involved painting on wet plaster, he chose to apply oil paints directly onto the wall. This method was unsuitable, and within a few years, the colors began to peel away, causing the artwork to deteriorate rapidly. Over the centuries, the painting suffered many misfortunes. It was turned into a stable for horses during the French invasion and later used as an armory storage room during Napoleon's wars. In World War II, bombs fell on the convent, destroying the ceiling and nearby walls, but somehow, the Last Supper survived. Restoration efforts attempted to preserve it, but today, only about 20% of the original painting remains. The rest consists of restoration attempts. Despite this, The Last Supper remains one of the most famous and influential artworks, appearing in advertisements, films, and even caricatures. Leonardo da Vinci was not just an artist, he was a visionary ahead of his time, trying to reshape art in new ways, even if it meant that his works would deteriorate over time. If he were alive today and saw how his painting had influenced the world, he might smile quietly, as if he always knew his work would endure, despite everything. Even after centuries of damage, war, and failed restorations, The Last Supper remains one of the most analyzed and admired paintings in the world. Scholars, historians, and art lovers continue to debate its details, hidden symbols, and the innovative techniques da Vinci used. One of the most striking aspects of the painting is how da Vinci arranged the disciples in groups of three, creating a dynamic yet structured composition. Unlike earlier versions of The Last Supper, where Judas was often seated alone on the opposite side of the table, da Vinci placed him among the other disciples, making it unclear who the traitor was at first glance. However, he subtly distinguished Judas by casting him in shadow, positioning his hand near the silver coins, and showing him knocking over a salt container, a possible reference to bad luck or betrayal. Another remarkable feature is the expressions and gestures of the disciples. Bartholomew, James the Less, and Andrew, positioned at the far left, appear shocked, raising their hands in disbelief. Peter leans in toward John, seemingly whispering and demanding answers, while Thomas points upward, foreshadowing his later doubt about Jesus' resurrection. Each disciple reacts differently, capturing a unique moment of emotional intensity, something rarely seen in religious art before da Vinci's time. Da Vinci's attention to realism extended beyond the figures. He meticulously studied the effects of light and shadow, developing the chiaroscuro technique to enhance depth and drama. He also experimented with sfumato, a technique that softens edges and transitions between colors, giving the figures a lifelike quality. These innovations would later influence countless artists, including Caravaggio and Rembrandt. The legacy of The Last Supper extends beyond the art world. It has been endlessly recreated, from high art to pop culture. Andy Warhol reinterpreted it in modern prints, advertisements have mimicked its layout, and even movies and TV shows reference its iconic composition. Its themes of betrayal, sacrifice, and revelation continue to resonate across generations. Today, visitors to Milan can see what remains of the Last Supper in the convent of Santa Maria del Grazie, though it has undergone extensive restoration efforts. Strict preservation measures are in place, allowing only a limited number of visitors at a time to view it. Though much of the original painting has been lost, da Vinci's genius still shines through. Despite its physical fragility, The Last Supper has achieved artistic immortality. It is not just a painting, it is a story, a moment frozen in time, a masterpiece that continues to captivate the world. Perhaps that is the true brilliance of da Vinci, not just in what he painted, but in how his work continues to inspire, challenge, and move us centuries later.